Welcome into another episode of the OKPreps Coach's Corner. I'm Michael Knight, and I'm sitting down today with Plainview head coach Joe Price. Coach, we got to go back to last year. Good season for Plainview, make it to the playoffs. Obviously, things don't end the way you would want, but overall, a pretty successful season, especially on the offensive side of the ball. You guys put up a lot of points.
Yeah, we did. It's anytime you don't make it to the last game of the year, it's always a disappointing end. We played a pretty tough Lincoln Christian team here in Tulsa, and didn't get the result that we wanted. We're just going to try to right those wrongs from last year and make sure we don't make some of the same mistakes we made.
Talk about this off season for your guys. Some of the pieces that you have coming back that are going to help you, as you mentioned, try to erase those mistakes that happened last year and try to make a deeper run into the playoffs this year.
Yeah, we had a great off season. Our summer pride attendance has been kind of off the charts this year. We've got a great group of seniors, a large group of seniors. We've got 23 seniors on our team, which in my time as a head coach is the most we've ever had. And there's a lot of talented kids in there. Obviously besides the two Division I guys that we've got on offense, we've got our quarterback coming back who's going on his second year as a starter. We've got a running back who averaged over almost 10 yards a carry last year and had right under 1,000 yards. So we've got a lot of pieces there. 3 starters back on the offensive line. So we've just kind of got to get everything meshed up and get everything rolling again.
How do you prepare for this season when you consider all the weapons that you had back on offense where, you mentioned putting up a lot of points last year. You probably aren't going to miss a beat this year with 3 offensive linemen. That's anchored by OSU commit Eli Russ. Your quarterback is back. A very productive running back is back. And then, of course, Blake now at wide receiver, TCU commit. How do you manage those expectations on the offensive side of the ball, knowing that going into it, you guys should be pretty good?
Yeah, I just think our kids will go out and play well. I think offensively it's all about execution. I think it'll be interesting to see the plans that people come up with to try to take away Blake now. Because as a high school football player, he's not a guy that you can just go let one guy cover.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see exactly how everybody plays him. Last year we had a lot of coverage rolled to him. He was over under bracketed and those type of things. So it'll be interesting again this year to see how people do that, and that should help our other receivers and our running back. If more people are taken out of the box to go take care of him, then there should be some advantages for some of the other kids. And he's the type of guy that'll be happy for everybody else to do well. He's a team guy, and he just wants to win a state championship, just like the rest of the kids do. So I think that'll be good to see how all that works out.
Let's talk about your schedule, because it was brutal last year and it's brutal again this year. You got some heavy hitters on there.
Mm-hmm.
What can you take away from your experiences with them last year? Because I got to assume, especially for these guys that are coming back, they should know what to expect with the non-district opponents that you guys have and then the district opponents that you're in. They should know what to expect at this point, that you're going to play some of the best teams in Class 3A and even in 4A as well. Mm-hmm. And the expectation is to win.
Right. That's exactly it. We play tough non-district, so we'll be prepared to play in our district. Last year, I don't really think about it in these terms, but we lost to 2 teams that were in the state championship game with Tuttle and Sulphur. Then we kind of didn't play as well as we should have against Lincoln Christian. But, if you don't play tough competition, I don't think it prepares you for down the road when you're in the playoffs and in the fire a little bit. So again, this year, our non-district stuff's going to be really tough again. Playing 4A schools and a team out of Texas. All that I think prepares you to go, win your district and make a run in the playoffs.
And let's talk about that, because when I look at Class 10, it's August, so there's only one thing to do, and that's predict what could happen in the football season. And when I look at Class 3A, obviously And rightfully so, the conversation has to start with Heritage Hall. They are the defending champs. They looked real good last year, and they'll have plenty coming back. So the respect has to go there. But then after that, there's a lot of really good teams in Class 3A. Lincoln's going to be good again. Plainview is going to be good again. There's going to be some real good competition in Class 3A. When you take a look at it, and I know you're a coach, so you're in the one game at a time mindset, but
Right.
It's early August, Coach. We can take a look at Class 3A.
Yeah.
It looks wide open to me. There's a lot of good teams.
Yeah, no, there are. Obviously Heritage Hall is, I don't know how many. I think they've won 3 in a row now, 4A or maybe
4 out of the last 5, I think.
Yeah. So, obviously they're a team that's always going to have good players, and they're always pretty well coached, and so that usually translates into good success. And then from there, I think Lincoln Christian, a team that we played, they've got a bunch of kids coming back. Their quarterback was a really good football player.
Yeah.
And then you get into your Berry Hill and some of those guys that have been really good and traditionally had good runs in the playoffs. On our side, you've got, Sulphur's always going to be good. They lost a great player last year, but, again, they always seem to find guys to kind of reload and keep going. So there's several teams that I think, and then you get into the district that we cross over with at first, and with the redistricting stuff in Oklahoma City, it's kind of unpredictable to know what John Marshall and even possibly Douglas could look like when they get a lot more kids in their schools.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see how that deal turns out as well. Those could be wild cards in this whole deal with them having so many more students in their schools this year. And then you always get into Kingfisher.
Right, yeah.
Kingfisher is always going to be good. And able to make runs in the playoffs. So there's a bunch of teams that are just there, and everybody's got an opportunity. I think a lot of it comes down to winning your district.
Yeah.
So your path is a little bit easier.
Well, Coach, as always, I appreciate your time. Thank you for sitting down with me today, and it should be fun in Class 3A. Good luck to you in Plainview this year.
Thank you.
He's Coach Joe Price. I'm Michael Knight, and this has been another edition of the OKPreps Coach's Corner.